Today, I'm making one of my most favorite Middle Eastern dishes, kofta, or as I like to call it, Middle Eastern meatballs. I first tried this dish during one of my many trips to Egypt and made sure to watch my former mother-in-law make it step by step so I could recreate it when home. Because who better to teach you than an Egyptian grandmother? I've tried several variations, but hers remains my favorite. Start by washing your 2 cups of a medium grain rice and set aside to soak for 30 minutes while you prepare your ingredients. I'm using half of a large white onion. Roughly chop it. Doesn't have to be perfect because we'll put it in the food processor. You're then going to chop your 1 large red pepper. This is an easy way to chop it to just minimize making a mess so the seeds don't get everywhere. Roughly chop the peppers and set them aside. Crush your 6 cloves of garlic. I'm using my fancy garlic pretzer that I'm so obsessed with. You're then going to add in your cup of cilantro and your cup of parsley with 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I am using a food processor to combine and mix all the ingredients well so I don't have big chunks in my kofta. It is a little watery, so what you want to do is run it through a sieve or a cheesecloth to remove some of that liquid. This dish is best served with vermicelli rice, which is very common with Middle Eastern dishes. You're going to start with some olive oil and some butter, and you're just going to brown your vermicelli till it reaches a golden color. This adds a layer of depth to your rice that you probably have never had before, and it's so good, so I definitely recommend doing it this way. It takes about 5 minutes for them to brown. You want to constantly be stirring, making sure that it does not burn because that does happen quickly. You're then going to add in your rice, your water and salt, and let that cook until done. I remember when I first ate this dish as a 19-year-old, my mind was blown because it was my 2 favorite things, rice and pasta. How could you go wrong? I'm using a pound of ground beef and a pound of lamb. I'm then going to add my cumin, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and some coriander to that and blend well. I'm then going to add 1.5 cups of our vegetable mixture, reserving some for the sauce, which you'll see later on. Combine that well, and next we're going to form our meatballs. This was one of my favorite things to do when I did spend time in Egypt. It was very common for the women to sit around the table, cooking and chatting, and it was definitely a form of connection and bonding. Now let's get cooking. I oiled my pan lightly because you really don't need oil because of the beef and lamb, and let it simmer on each side for about 5 minutes or until they were nicely browned, and then I flipped them over. Once nicely browned on each side, remove and let's work on the sauce. We're going to start with a tablespoon of olive oil, add in 3 tablespoons of your reserved vegetable mixture, and a tablespoon of your tomato paste. We're then going to add in our 2 cups of water and our 1.5 tablespoons of chicken bouillon. Let that simmer for a few minutes and add in your meatballs. While those are simmering, let's chop up our potatoes. I'm using 3 Yukon Gold potatoes, but you can also use russet. We're then going to add these to the sauce and let it simmer for about 35 minutes or until the potatoes are soft but not too soft. Let's see how we're doing. Yep, that looks about done and so delicious. This is where you can taste for salt, adjust as needed. Mine was perfect, but it's totally up to you. You're then going to add in your 3 tablespoons of parsley and you are ready to serve. This vermicelli rice looks so good. The way I like to plate this is I put some rice in the middle and then I surround it with the potatoes and meatballs, which are so juicy and so delicious. I can't wait for you guys to try it. Happy dance, because this is one of my favorite dishes. It was so good. I hope you guys enjoy it. Bon appetit.